The suitcase was heavier than she expected. The weight startled her as she gripped the handle, her knuckles whitening from the strain. She almost stumbled backward, thrown off by the unexpected load. For the briefest second, surprise flickered in her eyes, so quick most people would have missed it. But it was enough to confirm that all my preparation for this weekend had been worth it. She forced out a laugh. What is this filled with rocks? Her eyes darted toward me, searching for a reaction. I kept my face neutral, and offered nothing more than a small shrug. Everything you'll need is in there, I said, my voice steady. This wasn't just another trip. She hesitated for half a beat before stretching her lips into that rehearsed smile she'd been perfecting for months. You're too sweet, she murmured, brushing a cold kiss against my cheek. I didn't return it. I simply watched as she dragged the heavy suitcase across the floor, the wheels squealing under its burden. Only after her car disappeared down the street did I let out a long breath. The stage was set. Her name was Emily. We had been married for 8 years, together for 10. For most of that time, I would have said we were happy, comfortable, maybe even truly content. We had our rituals, our inside jokes, and the illusion of a future we were building side by side. At least, that's what I believed. 3 months ago, everything shifted. That night, she was in the shower when her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. I hadn't been snooping. It just lit up, right in front of me. The preview on the screen stopped me cold. Can't wait to see you this weekend. Miss you already. Derek. Derek. She didn't know anyone by that name. Not a coworker. Not a family friend. No one. My stomach tightened, but I didn't storm upstairs. I'd learned the hard way that accusations without proof led nowhere. This time, I would gather evidence. She wasn't going to slip away. Over the following weeks, I played my part flawlessly, smiling, making small talk, acting as though nothing was wrong, while quietly piecing together the truth. I installed a keylogger on her laptop. I saved messages, emails, and receipts from nights she claimed to be at the office. I followed her once, just to confirm, and caught her at a polished downtown hotel. Predictable. Later, I placed a GPS tracker on her car. Every lie, every I love you whispered on her way out the door cut deeper. But I stayed silent. She thought she was in control. She didn't realize I was unraveling her story thread by thread. So when she announced a girls' weekend, I almost laughed. Too clean. Too convenient. The vague explanations, the inconsistencies, the faint trace of cologne clinging to her blouse. The pieces were all there. You need a break, I told her. I'll manage here. She smiled, relieved, and began packing her best dresses, the ones she hadn't worn for me in years. Meanwhile, I packed something else. A case full of evidence. Screenshots, receipts, photos. Proof that would break the fragile world she thought she controlled. I knew exactly where Derek lived. A sleek high-rise on the other side of town. I'd driven past it often enough. He was in his mid-30s, all sharp suits, expensive watches, and that polished corporate grin. The type who never considered the husband on the other side of his fun. When I arrived, her car was parked sloppily outside, proof of her hurry to get upstairs. I waited an hour, long enough for them to relax, to feel safe. Then I walked to his door and knocked. Calm. Firm. Derek opened it, smirk ready, until he saw me. His smile faltered. Can I help you? He asked cautiously. I think you can, I replied, stepping forward. He froze, weighing whether to slam the door. I didn't give him the chance. My shoulder pushed it open, forcing my way inside. Don't even think about it, Derek, I said sharply. We're going to talk. Emily appeared in the hallway, pale, clutching her robe around her. James, why are you here? She whispered. I ignored her and locked my gaze on him. You know who I am, don't you? He swallowed. You should leave, he said weakly. I laughed bitterly. Oh, I'll leave, after we've had a conversation. I dropped my bag onto the coffee table and unzipped it. Photos, emails, receipts, screenshots spilled out like broken glass across the surface. His eyes flicked from the pile to Emily, then back to me. You thought you were clever, didn't you? My voice rose. Thought you could hide it. James, please, Emily begged, her voice trembling. Can we talk alone? Alone? I turned to her, anger boiling under my skin. Now you want a loan? Where was that when you were sneaking around with him? Her tears welled, but I didn't soften. Don't you dare cry, Emily. You chose this. You live with it. Derek looked ready to disappear into the floor. How does it feel? I asked coldly, knowing it's all crashing down. Look, man, he stammered. Save it, I snapped. I don't want your excuses. But maybe your wife will. His face drained of color. What? Oh yes, I said, a cruel smile tugging at my lips. I found her. Sweet woman. She deserves the truth. James, don't. Emily pleaded, her voice breaking. I turned to her, my words sharp as a blade. You should have thought about that before you betrayed me. I grabbed my bag, headed for the door, then looked back at Derek one last time. Go near my wife again, and I'll make sure your entire office knows exactly who you are. And then I left, silence crashing down behind me. The fallout came fast. The next morning, I sent every piece of evidence to Derek's wife with a short message. I'm sorry for the pain. You deserve to know the truth. Within days, she filed for divorce. By the end of the week, whispers reached his company, and he was quietly forced out. Emily begged. She cried. She tried to explain, to twist the story into something less damning. But I didn't listen. The divorce papers were already drawn. She left with nothing but what she could carry. It wasn't easy. Betrayal never is. But standing alone in the stillness of my home, I felt something I hadn't in months. The crushing weight had lifted. I hadn't just lost a wife. I'd gained something far more valuable. Freedom.